wonder if these shoes split Earth.
That was it? I waited 5 minutes for that.
You don't play Dota, you don't get it.
It's pretty bad.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Esports Canada TV, episode 11. We are into the double digits, fast and furious. Tonight we have two very special guests on our show. Joining myself at Quinn of the Net, John Quinn. You can follow me on Twitter as well as my two co-hosts, ESC.Jovian and ESC.Songers. How you guys doing this evening?
Well, thanks.
Fantastic. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our guests tonight. These guys are two indie game developers out of Toronto, and they work for Alien.
Out of Toronto.
Toronto?
Out of two places.
Two places.
He's in Toronto, and I'm in Saskatoon. So.
Saskatoon.
You're half right.
Good. P.S. I don't even like Toronto, so we'll get to that in the interview. They represent Alien Trap Games. We have Lee Vermeulen and Jesse McGibbs. Welcome to the show, guys.
Howdy, howdy. Good to be here.
Now, you guys don't exactly have the most esports specific background, but we are a video game show by heart, so that is why you guys are here tonight. Can you guys go ahead and maybe introduce yourselves and give us a little background on Alien Trap Games?
Me and Jesse actually know each other through elementary school. We went to school together in Saskatoon, and then afterwards we went to different colleges, and he started working on game mods, and I started working on other game projects. And then I just emailed him one day and asked him if he wanted to make a game.
Yeah, and we ended up making our previous game, Capsize, as a school project. Is what it started out as, and kind of span out of control after that. But yeah, so I'm the artist, and then Lee's the programmer.
Oh man, that sounds so much more fun than the school projects I do.
Well, you have to kind of bend some of the rules to make it fit, but
yeah, I had to kind of convince my professor that I just do whatever I want, and it's sort of strange.
Yeah, well, yeah, neither of us went to school specifically for game design.
Oh right, okay.
So,
what did you guys go to school for?
I took illustration. So, yeah, so
I did computer science. I just needed a big project at the end to kind of fit everything together, and so I started work on that.
Awesome. So, was that the starting point of you guys starting to make your own games instead of, finding jobs in a major game developer or something like that?
Together, yeah, but both of us had previously been kind of doing our own thing. We both kind of started in, middle of high school.
Right.
I started doing modding for Battlefield 1942. I worked on a mod called Forgotten Hope, which is a World War II conversion mod. I did that for about 2 years or so. Then we were working on something cool.
I did Nexius in high school, and I started that when I was 13, 14, and then I finally released it on my 18th birthday, and then graduated high school.
Yeah.
And I worked on that for the first year of university for a bit, and then kind of left the project somewhat, and then got a whole.
Nexius is it's like an open source, Quake kind of game.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I saw it on your main website. You have the Nexius and Encapsized, and then you have a new game coming out called Apotheon. So what can you tell us about your new title?
So Apotheon is a action RPG 2D side scroller set in classical Greek mythology, and the art style is based on ancient Greek pottery. So it has kind of this unique black and red, kind of bold silhouette style, and it's very kind of melee combat focused, along with spears and bows and arrows, and nice kind of tactical strategic combat that involves a lot of timing, and it should have some fairly interesting stories to tell within Greek mythology, in kind of a big open world.
Yeah. We're lucky looking at the trailer right now, and the combat looks really brutal. I like that.
Yeah, lots of head skewering, and
it's really physics based, so it makes it really raw and pretty brutal at times.
Yeah.
It's not about combos or anything like that. It's you really got to have precision in your hits.
Yeah, the combat is more similar to kind of the newer genre of sword FPS games, so things like Chivalry and Mountain Blade and War of the Roses. So the combat is a little similar to that, just in a 2D side-scrolling package.
Right. So you did mention how the art is based off of ancient Greek pottery, and I noticed that when I was watching the video. I thought it was really cool because I don't think I've ever seen anybody go that direction, but it really creates a very unique look. So how did you come to decide to use, I mean, for one, ancient Greek mythology, and also the art style that you would find on their pottery that remains?
Well, you're saying like it hasn't really shown up in a whole lot of games. There's maybe one or two I can think of that use it in a very limited amount. But we're actually kind of surprised that no one's really taken it. It fits very well into a 2D platform where you can almost look at Greek pottery and go, oh, if that was moving, that would make a pretty good game. So that was, we ended up actually taking the Greek mythology narrative first, and then the art style came after.
Well, we were going to do a sci-fi based Greek game because we kind of wanted to do something like Capsized, using guns and just kind of expand on what we already knew.
Yeah.
And then so Jesse started trying Greek based art, and eventually slowly became.
Yeah, we eventually just kind of, well, why sci-fi? Let's just go right to the source.
We started trying the melee combat. We liked it, and we gave up the guns.
But yeah, in terms of why we picked Greek mythology, it has a really wealth of story to draw from, and it's also interesting in that it's kind of the origins of a lot of Western storytelling and fantasy, and where a lot of games get inspiration for the stories from. So it's kind of cool to just go right to the root and explore that a little more.
Yeah, well, it looks really awesome. And I know that Capsized is available on Steam, and Apotheon, when it's released, I'm not sure what platform you will be looking to release it on, but how important are things like Kickstarter or even Steam's Greenlight for indie developers such as yourselves?
Well, we're definitely releasing on Steam. I think because we already have it on Steam, we're doing all our development on Steam. So I can't see us going for a console or anything like that, or finding a publisher. It's just, I think Steam is it's a perfect platform for this type of game, and what we want on Steam. But I think because of Capsize allowed us to already get accepted on Steam, so we don't really have to go through the Greenlight process.
Right.
And we're still unsure about. I really doubt we're gonna have a Kickstarter or anything like that, but it's not impossible. But it just. Yeah. I would really want to do it. I would making the Kickstarter video, and it would just sort of take away focus on actual development.
Yeah. Well,
and we don't need to expand our team beyond me and Jesse really. So there's no need for extra funds at this point. But that
we've always been fairly low cost, and we started Capsize before Kickstarter really took off. I think.
I think we would have used Kickstarter then, but now it seems to have a lot of burden.
I really like the idea of Kickstarter for indie and smaller teams. Like I really like the consumer input, especially when it comes to kind of revitalizing older genres that no publisher is really going to. Oh yeah, for sure. But like I like it in
old school RPG Kickstarter stuff like that. It's just
any open system things like that. So I like it in theory.
Yeah, definitely. Was Capsized almost like a Cinderella story? So, like, where would the funding, or how were you able to get Capsized off the ground, like to be accepted onto Steam, and then reach the success, obviously that.
What happened? We worked on it for like 8 months, I guess, and then our original plan was to go to Microsoft and get an XBLA deal, have them publish it, or go through another publisher for XBLA, and then we also submitted to Steam because it seemed just like a backup plan. But we got rejected after like a year of development or working on it, and that seemed pretty bad. Then we got rejected by Microsoft and pretty much every publisher. So we were in a pretty bad state for a while, but then we just decided to continue development for another year, and then we tried again, and Steam accepted us. we gave up on XBLA because it wasn't really worth the difficulty, and yeah, it all turned out really good anyway.
Yeah, that's actually amazing.
I think the main thing that kept us going was the fact that we were working other jobs while we were developing Capsize. So we were doing Capsize kind of part time, and until we had enough kind of saved up that we're like, okay, let's finish it. Let's quit our jobs and finish Capsize.
Yeah,
and hopefully,
we actually got accepted by Steam when we first.
It took a couple tries though.
We got accepted, and then we got rejected after they tried it, and then a year passed and tried it again. And it was a difficult process.
Yeah, it wasn't until kind of our final build that they gave us the green light.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's really amazing. Through all that adversity, that's really good to hear that it actually ended up being. Because I mean, I really enjoyed the game. I can't imagine that somebody would have rejected it just after trying it. But
well, if you tried the version we originally sent,
the first.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. We didn't play test it or anything. It was really hard. It had a lot of. It was really kind of basic. So an extra year of development really actually made the game special.
Yeah.
Well, that's really good. So I guess now I'd like to ask, do you guys follow any esports?
Not really, but I play a lot of like competitive games, and I used to watch a couple StarCraft matches when I used to work in an office. But
That's what we all do.
yeah,
it's good stuff.
But I don't work in an office anymore, so I haven't really kept up with it.
I don't have free time anymore.
No, you know, we're both old fans of competitive games like Quake and Unreal Tournament and stuff like that. I played a lot of Counter-Strike when I was younger, and I still play a lot of Dota, StarCraft and stuff like that. So I completely understand the mindset of where it's coming from. I love skill-based multiplayer games.
Right.
I don't really play enough video games in general, I think. Really. I sort of like to just try games, understand the mechanic, and then move on unless it becomes one of my core favorite games.
Yeah.
And all my friends that I had that play video games, they're all sort of so out of touch with modern games that we're still playing Mortal Kombat and Rune, this old game. That's the only games we play is Mortal Kombat and Rune. So I'm pretty out of touch. I wish I had new friends that actually liked good games, but I don't.
Do you find now that you guys are developing games and you know kind of that behind the scene, does that make you almost sort of an elitist when you play a game? Does it ruin the experience because you're kind of looking too deep into the art style or the development, the mechanics and everything? Is it hard to just kind of let loose and still have fun?
No.
I have a hard time having fun with my own game sometimes because a lot of the time I just see the bugs constantly, and that just is or see what I need to do.
Well,
and then sometimes with other games I analyze how it's done a little bit too much, but it usually it makes it more interesting for me. It doesn't make it less interesting.
I think that's like the worst part of being a game developer is the fact that you never get to see your own game
the way other people do.
Yeah, you know you're always looking under the carpet. That's kind of a shame, but I don't know. For me, I play tons of games, and I tend to kind of turn my brain off a lot when I'm playing them. So, you know, unless it's a really bad game, and then I start to pick it apart. But you know, for things I like, I still enjoy as much as I ever did.
I guess the biggest view I've had into the world of developing, especially on an indie level, is the movie Indie Game, the movie. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it.
Yeah.
It paints a pretty bleak picture for developers that it's like 14-hour days of sitting in the dark and hating your life and shutting away from anyone else.
Not all of us are quite that melodramatic.
Yeah, I guess that was my kind of follow-up to that was how true and how movie is that experience?
Well, yeah, it's definitely not as dramatic. And our development of Capsize wouldn't have made a good movie or anything like that. But getting rejected by Steam was definitely a big blow. So there's definitely a lot of high and lows in that way.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think it's really... Yeah, there was really no drama. But it was a lot of just 14-hour days.
Yeah, there's a lot of work, and there's a lot of, you know, drain when you've been working on the same thing for... You know,
it's really like the closer you get to the end of development, the more inspired you are to finish it, but the more sick of working on it you kind of are.
Yeah.
And do you guys ever collaborate in the same spot, or are you always in Saskatoon and you're always in Toronto?
When I come back for like Christmas, we have like brainstorming meetings, but other than that, it's all remote Skype.
That's pretty much it. With Capsize, we didn't even have like a single Skype call. It was all just talking on MSN.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Kind of on the same line as John's last question, what is one thing that you guys would want to change about Canadian game development? There's one thing you could change.
The Canadian development, the game development scene, really.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know that many Canadian developers because there hasn't really been a lot of occasions to meet them. We didn't go to when we were nominated for the Video Game Awards. We didn't go for some reason. That would have been good. But it was the only thing ever been nominated.
The Canadian VGAs, we went to.
Yeah.
We went to the after party.
Ah.
The important part.
The important part, yeah.
Well, Lee, because you're in Saskatoon, like it's really, there's not a whole lot there.
No,
you're in.
I'm actually having. I'm hosting like an indie game get together on Friday, which should be good with these other guys in Saskatoon called Noodle Cake, who made the game Super Stickman Golf. And so I'm going over there to meet other game developers. But I mean, I'm pretty secluded. Like I mean, Saskatoon is really in the middle of nowhere.
And the government there really doesn't support.
Yeah, the government, Saskatoon, like compared to the rest of Canada, the Saskatchewan government really doesn't give a shit about games. They just want to make money from pulling stuff out of the ground, and that's it.
Yeah.
And so.
Toronto's a bit better. Like there at least is some other indie developers here. Like there's Cappy, and there's a couple other ones. Yeah, Drinkbox is here. You guys are doing some good stuff. Actually, this weekend I just got back from kind of independent game festival called Gamer Camp. It was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's it's here. It's to kind of dig around and look for it with the community.
I guess just kind of like more,
kinda
right?
Centralized. Yeah, it's more of it. It's kind of centralized in in Vancouver and Toronto and Montreal. And definitely get elsewhere.
Like everything in Canada.
yeah, I guess so.
So you have Apotheon. What can you tell us about release date, how much it's going to be, where can we find it?
It's definitely going to be on Steam, and I'm hoping for release of mid-2013. I don't really know how realistic that is. And I don't know, like we've discussed releasing like just the multiplayer portion before the rest of it, or something like that, just to make development a little bit more easy. But most likely it's probably just going to be a single release in 2013. As for price, I have no idea.
We'll see how much indie games go for at that time.
Yeah, at the time. Yeah.
Inflation, all that.
Exactly.
It definitely will be for something. It's not.
It won't be free.
All right. Anything else that you guys want to plug or mention? I have your Twitters on the screen. Maybe you want to talk about your website and anywhere else we can get in contact with you or reach you or find out what you're doing.
Check out our website at alientrap.org. And also Capsize is up on Steam right now for $9.99, and it goes on sale a lot. You get a lot of bundles, and it's a great game.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Perfect.
I've never had.
All right, this is my favorite part of the show. We're going to move into the lightning round. This is where we're going to ask you 10 skill testing questions. These questions are going to take you to hell and back. It's probably the worst experience of your life, and we ask that you try and answer them as fast as possible. We've never done two at the same time, so maybe I'll appoint...
I didn't actually get to talk to you ahead of time. Should we do where they can both answer, and then you can just give an arbitrary point number to the person whose answer you like the most? And maybe a tie would be just...
Much like every other week with the lightning round, we'll wing it. So, just for the sake of no confusion, Jesse, if you want to answer first... And then Lee, you can have the rebuttal.
All right.
Are you guys ready for the lightning?
Okay.
Are you guys ready for the lightning round?
No.
Yeah.
Go.
Question number 1: sandals or flip-flops?
Sandals.
I don't remember the difference between the two, so.
That's 1 point for Jesse and -1 for Lee. Question number 2: Autobots or Decepticons?
Decepticons.
Who's the bad guys? The Decepticons.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's I don't even have to mention what the points are for that one. Number 3, Nintendo's Mode 7 graphics or Sega's Blast processing?
I'm a PC gamer. So I grew up with
That
PC.
is correct.
So
That's the
yeah,
correct answer.
I don't know.
Which one sounds more awesome?
Probably the Mode 7.
Yeah.
That's Star Fox, man.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That's a little...
All right, 1 point each. A pity point. Number 4, favorite video game genre?
FPS.
Yeah, FPS. That's
Just
All
stealing
right,
my answer.
1 point for Lee, no points for Jesse.
Aw.
Number 5, first console you owned?
I have never owned a console.
Oh,
Wow.
+5 for being unique. Lee,
I think I had a GameCube first.
GameCube, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
That's late.
which is pretty strange.
+1. Favorite weapon in Half-Life 1?
Hive gun.
Crowbar. Oh, the Hive Gun, the one with the homing
Yeah,
and flying things.
the hive hand. Because it never
I would
runs out
give
of
you
ammo.
infinite points.
Never runs
I know.
out
What's the
of ammo.
guy? What's the little animals that you have in your hand?
Oh, the snarks.
Snarks.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Snarks are pretty good.
Lee spoke out of turn, but I like that initiative, so he gets +2. Favorite Half-Life 1 mod?
Oh, God. Be topical, natural selection 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Holy cow, Jesse.
That finally just got off the ground, so
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Ah.
there was too many.
All right, well, for appeasing
Yeah.
Frank, you get no points.
Sorry, Jesse.
Number 8, PC gaming or console gaming? This one's...
I'm gonna go with PC.
I think I would go with the same. Yeah.
Same, 1 point each. Number 9, 2D games or 3D games?
I really want to make a 3D game again.
Yeah,
but
I go
it's way too
in-
hard.
In
So,
general, 3D games, I like making 3D games,
All right, 1 point each.
but I do enjoy 3D games.
Number 10, the hardest one by far. If I wasn't an indie developer, I would be a...
Freelance illustrator, which is what I did before.
I'd probably be writing business applications, and I still do that anyway. So, yeah. Not as exciting.
Not as
but-
exciting. All right, I will tabulate the scores here.
Many negatives.
You're just typing letters.
Crunching numbers.
I have to
right
raise
now.
my hand so far to make it look like I'm typing. 8. You got 8 combined score. So
Holy cow,
congratulations.
2 people got
Wait,
8.
Excellent.
Wait, 8 out of 10?
Yes. I won't
pretty
tell
good.
you. I won't tell you who brought the team down, who brought it up, but you guys scored a combined 8 out of 10. Very respectable score.
All right.
I can check the scoreboard. I think that puts you in 3rd place. So, very good job.
Okay. Bronze medal.
Guys,
Nice.
thank you so much for being here. Are there any last words from the both of you before we sign off? For being here,
Nope.
are there any-
Thanks for having us,
Oh,
though.
that's good.
Thank you guys.
I enjoyed myself.
That's
Awesome.
all we ask. Alright guys, make sure to follow Alien Trap Games, alientrap.org, or on Twitter at Alien Trap Games, and look for Apotheon sometime next year. Thank you very much, guys. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have Mike Daniels joining us from Ralston Arcade, main guy out of the fighting game community in Atlantic Canada. He's going to talk to us about all things fighting game, both with things that went on at MLG over the weekend and things that he's doing in his hometown of Halifax. As well, we're going to talk about WCG Canada, which Frank and Nick were casting and I was observing and running production for on the weekend. And if we have time, we might even talk about MLG. So stay tuned for that, and we will be right back.
That's wrong.
Welcome back, everyone. As you can see, the overlays are a pile of steaming dog poop, so I am going to take 5 seconds to fix all of this while Frank and Nick talk to me about WCG before we bring Mike Daniels on.
All right, WCG was such an amazing tournament. We saw so many, players with like high-level play, and for me, the most exciting part was actually watching Combat X try work his way through in another WCG tournament, but only to be just taken out at the end at the finals again. That was the most exciting part for me. What about you, Frank?
There's a couple things I really enjoyed. Like you said, the high caliber of play from the Canadian pros in Eastern Canada. But what I thought was really cool was, one, learning that the Killing Spree team is, I think, based out of Montreal. So I actually, I think I put it's like killingspree.com, I think it is. Is that right?
Yep. That's it.
Yeah, so killingspree.com, if there's anybody out there, any aspiring pro gamers, you should follow them and support them. They're a Canadian team, so there was a huge number of Killing Spree players out there in Montreal, and ultimately Combat X fell to Killing Spree's Alexei Moi, so that's really cool. A Terran gets through. I thought it was going to be 3 Zergs. I thought it was going to be Hendrilisk, Fire Zerg, and another Zerg.
Yeah, you'd like that.
I wouldn't like that.
You would like that.
I would love it. I would love it.
Instead, we got a Terran, which is awesome, and we need more Terrans in competitions, and we need more Canadians. So three pro, really high-caliber players are going, and Alexei really impressed me. I mean, Combat X looked very strong, but the way he was able to tear apart that Protoss army, he definitely deserves to go to China.
Exactly. For those who didn't know, the WCG was hosted at the... Okay, here we go. I'm going to totally butcher this. Complex?
Oh, the Complex Desjardins
Grand Palace, and it was a mall in Montreal, and so WCG has been setting up these tournaments at malls out in the open where people can see all of these live events and just get a taste of what esports is.
Yeah, it was a really cool format. I do enjoy the mall format, even though internet can be an issue at malls. It was still neat to give...
I found it wasn't bad in Montreal.
Yeah, Montreal was good. Toronto went off without a hitch. Vancouver had a couple issues here or there. But in general, just the exposure to the casual fan or even just people who don't even know esports exists, that was really cool to see.
For sure.
Yeah, anyone looking for the VODs of that, I believe they're still on WCG Canada's Twitch page, so twitch.tv/WCG Canada, and you can watch Frank and Nick doing that thing day 2.
Oh,
talking
so
too
much talking.
And
there was some points where we were just lost for words because the action was just so intense. Drops happening in the back, EMPs in the front, storms going on everywhere.
Carpet EMPs.
Yeah, it was insane.
Yeah. So while we're just setting up Mike in the windows as John so effortlessly is doing, there's one of the speaking of which, I was on Reddit and I saw somebody posted a picture when Combat X had put typed easy with pylons, not typed but built easy with pylons. He went on to lose that game, but what happened was somebody posted it in Reddit and was like, looks like Combat X is really owning at WCG Montreal. And I went in there because I'm like, I gotta be the first to post to say that he lost that game to get all the karma, right? But somebody beat me to it, so
I also saw that post, and I just went through it. I'm like, please don't shit on the observing. Please don't shit on the observing. I went through the entire thing. I was like, click back. I'm like, yeah, 189 comments and no mention of me.
You did great, John. I thought I had a wonderful time.
That was
we
stressful.
were just watching your observing. It must have been, yeah. There's so much going on.
Just don't want to miss anything. I'm just like looking at a drop, just like, okay, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Don't miss it, don't miss it, don't miss it, don't miss it. Awful.
All right.
Well, without further ado, just so you guys wonder who this creepy dude is in the bottom right-hand corner. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mike Daniels from Ralston Arcade. Mike, how are you doing this evening?
Doing great, guys.
Fantastic. Ooh, you got a nice mic, Mike.
Ooh, Turtle Beach.
Ooh, Turtle Beach. They're not one of our sponsors, Mike. We can't plug them.
All right.
Guys, Mike Daniels is a huge figure in esports and gaming in general in Atlantic Canada, running his own events. through Ralston Arcade, which I will let him talk about. But I just want to let you know that he is going to be our in-house fighting game expert. That is his area of expertise, although from what he says, he follows everything. I remember at Frag for Charity, he told me, man, I follow everything. If 2 people wanted to do 1v1 Minesweeper, I'd be all over it. So, he's going to be joining us from time to time, keeping us up to date on everything that's going on, both in Atlantic Canada, across Canada, and internationally. So, welcome, Mike. You are our first talking head guest.
Sweet. Awesome. Thanks to be on the show. Awesome.
Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit about Ralston Arcade, how it started, what it is, and what we can expect from them in the future.
Sure, absolutely. So what Ralston Arcade does is we specialize in fighting game tournament streaming. So Ralston Arcade has, like all stories, a modest beginning. Really started when a couple of us friends got together and started playing what we call the vanilla version of Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That came out March 2011. Me and my friends got together every Tuesday night to play each other and hopefully win some games, lose some games, and then come back the next week with some new technology, some new practice, some new combos to hopefully beat your friends every Tuesday. After a couple of months of that, we thought we were pretty good at the game, so we reached out to the local gaming communities. Obviously, in Halifax, the big gaming community, kind of the cornerstone of the community in Halifax, was Street Fighter Mondays at the Last Game Store, which is a used and new video game store in the area. So we reached out to them, started working with their community. They specialized in Street Fighter, whereas we were more Marvel vs. Capcom fans, but started working together on events and getting the communities together. In September 2011 or whatever, we started noticing that streaming was becoming a huge part of the fighting game community, so we were addicted to watching streams from Team Spooky in New York and Level Up and I Play Winner in Northern California and Southern California, so we thought, hey, nobody in Atlantic Canada is really doing streaming fighting games, so we slowly started building up the technology in fall 2011 to do streaming, and then 2012, Ralston Arcade kind of put its stamp on the Atlantic Canada fighting game community. We streamed just about every major fighting game tournament in Atlantic Canada, so we did 2 in Charlottetown, PEI, 2 in St. John, New Brunswick, and 1 in Halifax, and then the upcoming one here in November in Halifax as well. So all that's been going really well. Let's see here. Yeah, so we did a bunch of big...
I'm just going to put up one of your VODs here, Mike, from your last UMVC3
yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, we were having problems with our HD capture card, so it doesn't look the greatest from the last couple of weeks, but we got a new one that we're going to debut this week, so apologize for the stream quality there. But so we worked on that most of 2012, started doing a lot of networking, got involved with the DESS guys, that's Dalhousie Esports Society, and they help run local bar crafts. That led me to help run the fighting game tournaments and the streams at Frag for Charity in 2000, just the past month or so. And we have a big event coming up in November, which is Low Tide Throwdown. That'll bring communities from New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI, maybe even Newfoundland. And there is talk some Toronto monsters are going to be coming down for it as well to steal all of our money. And so we're doing Low Tide Throwdown at the Nova Scotia Community College on November 17th and 18th. Obviously, Ralston Arcade will be streaming the whole event, so we'll have pools on Saturday and top 8 on Sunday for what I think are generally the 5 biggest games in the fighting game community right now with a local flavor. So we have Tekken Tag Tournament 2, Persona 4 Arena, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, an old school but a good one. Street Fighter 4, obviously, the big one, and then Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So it's been a whirlwind year and a half or so far, but we love doing the streaming. Obviously, we do it every Tuesday night. So basically what happened, a bunch of my friends got together late last year after Tuesday nights had become a regular thing, made a generous donation to help me turn one of the rooms in my house into basically an arcade. So the Evo monitors you see behind here, these are the stacks of boxes that we put in the Evo monitors. So fighting game people are very concerned about response times on their monitors for one-frame links and things like that. So what we call the Evo monitors is the ASUS monitors that have 2 millisecond response time. So that's all those right there. So I built an arcade in one room in my house, and that's where we stream from every Tuesday.
Yeah, I remember I stumbled across your stream before I'd met you or knew anything about Ralston. I think it was through like DESS or something. They plugged the stream and I tuned in and I was like, wow, these guys are doing a crazy job. You had the player cams and all the overlays and everything, and you had like 4 or 5 different announcers and there was like 30 players and it all took place in your basement. And I was just like, where is this going on right now? Like they said it was Halifax. So. Well,
that's the great thing because everyone's got to start somewhere. Like one of the biggest, most watched weekly streams is Wednesday Night Fights out of Southern California by Level Up, and they get like 8,000-9,000 viewers on a weekly basis. And 2 years ago, they were in somebody's garage. So I'm not saying that we'll get there eventually, but hopefully, we're taking the same path as they have.
Oh man.
Fantastic. Well, Mike, I don't really want to turn this into a big interview because I want you to be another personality that we have on the show, another person we can draw upon when we need information to pick your brain. How was MLG this weekend? Did you get to watch much of the fighting games?
That's a great question, and this is probably not the greatest question for me to be the flag bearer of the FGC on the thing. When MLG comes on, I turn on my eSports hat. I watch StarCraft 2 all weekend.
Yeah.
We don't have to get too much into it, but here's the big thing, is that obviously in the fighting game community, Capcom kind of rules the roost, and there's no Capcom games at MLG, so MLG isn't really... I mean, there was a lot of Korean and Japanese Tekken players that showed up for Tekken Tag 2, but all the big names in the U.S. gaming scene for fighting games went to Detroit for Umicon instead of MLG. So I was helping out with Barcraft on Sunday, and I had Umicon on my tablet watching Justin Wong and all the other fighting game pros rather than watching Tekken and Mortal Kombat at MLG. So it's just one of those things where Capcom has put their money elsewhere with EVO and their Street Fighter 25th anniversary tournament this year. So that's probably why Capcom isn't at a lot of the MLG events. And I'm, not to say that Tekken and all those games aren't great games, because they definitely are, but I tend to watch Street Fighter, Marvel, and some of the anime games like Persona or BlazBlue rather than Tekken and Mortal Kombat. But, hey... there's so many games you can watch, right? So I watched Warcraft 2 all weekend because Flash versus Naniwa. And
such a good series, man. That was so sick.
Well, when he boxed in the mid map on Game 7, I was like, oh, Naniwa, you're so screwed.
I was actually at like not a party, but just a bunch of friends getting together on Saturday night. And I went with my girlfriend, and there was probably like 20, 25 people there. It was someone's birthday or something, and one of my friends who lives at the house was just playing League of Legends in the corner, and he was like, all right, last game, like I'm going to bed. I was like, man, check this out. And he plays StarCraft just like a bit, like he just started probably 2-3 months ago, and I turned it on, and it was Flash versus Naniwa, and I was like, dude, you have to watch this right now. And he was like, oh, okay. And so like Game 3 happened, and he was like, oh man, that was crazy. Game 4, he was like, wow. And then by like Game 6, it was like 1:30 in the morning. He had to work at 5:30, and I was like, man, should you go to bed? He's like, no, I have to see Game 7. So he was very, and then the last game was just like cheese, and he was like, so that's it? It's done now? And I was like, go to bed, man.
That's a feel-good esports story right there.
Yeah, another believer, another convert.
Mike, what can you tell us about Canada Cup?
Canada Cup was amazing. I wish I had been there, but it was in Calgary, so it was a little expensive. But Canada Cup has really put Canada on the map for the fighting game scene. The guys out there do an amazing job. Canada Cup was ridiculous this year. Almost all the U.S. pros came out. There was a lot of representation, and what Lapchi, the guy who runs Canada Cup, does is run international 5v5 and basically flies pros from Korea, Japan, Southeast Asia, the U.S., Canada, in to play 5v5 and Street Fighter 4. So it's a really unique event that brings in a lot of people, and it was just one of the craziest events. One of the things that I love about the fighting game community is the after parties are just as good as the tournaments themselves, and there was a lot of good after party action with some Monopoly money on the line, where people were taking shots before every drink or before every match, and one of the most famous fighting game players tapped out a little early due to not being able to handle I know a lot of the there was a couple Twitch TV employees there at Canada Cup, and they're like, "Man, FGC in Canada is crazy." I was like, "I've never been this hungover in my life."
Yeah, what's the deal? Like, when you guys came to Gamezilla and you held your tournament here, it was like everyone was just kind of like chilling, having fun, playing games. It was like, oh, you got to come back tonight. That's when the real, like, we have the money matches and we break out the liquor, and that's where like the real party is. It seems it's less about competitive games and more about who can get more drunk and still beat the other person.
Well, that's part of the charm. Is that one of the things that has really evolved in the fighting game scene? It's called the salty suite. So when you get mad and lose at a fighting game, or you get what's called salty. So then you have a salty suite after the tournament or on Saturday night before top 8, because most people don't make top 8 and they want to blow off steam. So that's when you get into the drinking. That's when you get into the money matches. And when crazy. I mean, at Gamezilla we were there until like 4 a.m. in the morning, and then I woke up like 3 hours later and ran the stream on Sunday. But that's part of the charm. That's part of what people want to do. I mean, it's people just want to have fun, and drinking and doing some other things is one of the ways to do it.
That's what I like about the fighting community. They always have fun. They have so much fun. They're like, oh, they're intense. They're awesome.
Well, another thing too is that like everyone just plays the same. We all bring setups to a hotel room or to the venue, whatever it may be, and then we just play into the night. Whereas like, I don't think that's going on at StarCraft 2 after.
No, I was gonna say you guys have it so easy. It's just like one Xbox, 2 controllers, boom, we're ready to go. Like everyone has a TV that hooks into an Xbox.
Yeah.
It was that like the tournaments are about the top players, and that's great because that's where they get to shine. But then with like drunk money matches, you kind of keep a similar skill level.
The seedy underbelly of the fighting game community.
And then it gets just as hype as if you're watching pro players, because obviously alcohol levels the playing field, so to speak.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. But Canada is really good. I mean, it's really starting to put Canada on the map for the fighting game community, and they run an incredible event, and they kind of carved out a unique niche with the 5v5 and bringing all these pros from all over the world to compete, and you can really see the patriotism during the 5v5, and there was lots of controversy, obviously, in the tournament, and that got some of the American players mad and made them play better, so it was definitely a event.
Yeah, that was the first thing I noticed when I checked it out. Someone sent us a link. It was like, hey, Canada Cup's going on, and it was all, America's going to be there, Japan's going to be there, and it was a country versus country sort of thing, which you don't get too often, at least in esports. It's more of a team battle at that, where, a team might be all Korean players on a Korean team, but they're not really, the Korean national team or anything.
Right.
Well, the thing is that Infiltration kind of shocked everybody this year and won EVO, and he's from Korea, and he's been always good, but then he won EVO, and everyone's like, oh my god, this guy is insane. And then they had Team Korea, and even US was just trash talking. Well, there's 4 other guys in Infiltration. So it was interesting. Korea didn't win, Japan did, which is about right for the fighting game. I mean, Japan is just so insane for fighting games.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see everybody gang up on Korea because of Infiltration and how well he's been doing this year.
The number one thing I love about competitive fighting games is how the two people are just sitting beside each other, like no booths, no headphones. It's just like you can see the pain on one person's face and the other guy's just like sitting right beside them smiling. Like it's no like walk across the stage into a booth or like you pass them by later. Like you're crushing the guy and he's right next to you.
Well, and the other thing too is that what a lot of people don't know is that you get into mind games with the person sitting beside them. So what a lot of pro players will do is map some of their buttons to no action, and then hit that button to fake out the other person because they know that the other person is listening to them press their buttons. So they think the move is going to come out, and then it doesn't because that button is mapped to no action. And then they do the motion like a fireball motion and hit that button, and the other guy thinks the fireball is coming out, but then nothing comes out because there's nothing mapped to that button. So the head-to-head is definitely why it has the charm that it does. And then I was on a conference call the other week with some other esports guys, and people were playing in the arcade, and one guy started yelling and screaming, and they're like, "What's going on?" I was like, somebody won, and somebody's trash talking the other guy right after it happened. So one of the things to really see about that, if you guys wanted to check something out, is Filipino champ and Chris G had a crazy money match at Seasons Beatings. It was 1 to 15, but Chris Counter then did like they got rid of the game commentary and they just had the crowd commentary, and you could hear the coaches and you could hear everybody trash talking each other. It's really awesome to see.
What is is there any sort of rules or anything on trash talking like during an actual match?
The only rule during an actual match is actually there are none. Not really.
Just a throwdown.
It's Thunderdome.
Not that I mean, generally coaching is kind of frowned on during the match. You can get coaching between matches, but during the match it's kind of frowned on, but it happens all the time and no one really cares.
Right.
But, I mean, it's just one of those things where we all love the fact that it's loud, the fact that it's noisy, and the fact that it's literally face-to-face and you can hear everything that's going on.
That's crazy. I love it. And
Yeah.
Mike, as a present to you for coming on the show, I did get you a couple Esports Canada shirts for your Low Tide Throwdown event, so I'll be sending those your way.
Yay!
We did it!
Esports Canada.
Definitely plug you guys on the stream, so definitely
Please do.
check that out for sure.
Yeah, it's good that our streams run on alternate days, so that right after this tomorrow, everyone can watch your stream. So hopefully,
We're not going to compete against each other, at least not.
not unless
Especially
it's in the
two-
same room.
Two nice Atlantic Canadian boys would never do that to each other.
Yeah.
Mike,
Did you make it to FFI? I couldn't remember. I didn't know you at the time when FFI went.
yes, I did. I was the guy with my hood up in the corner playing StarCraft for 4 hours. Because Gamezilla has, if you've ever been there, it's like they have like the one section where it's all tables and TVs, and that's where you guys kind of hold the tournament. But then the other section is there's 10 computers that you can rent out and play. And so I went down to check the event, and I mean, I'm not really knowledgeable when it comes to fighting games, but I can enjoy it. So I watched like a match or two, and I had watched your stream, so I kind of knew who was good and who wasn't. And so I watched a bit, and I was like, well, I'm already here. I might as well just play StarCraft. And so I brought my keyboard and mouse, and I played Sandy, who's the manager there. I played him in a couple 1v1s, but he's bronze, and so it was a lot of fun. But when's the next FFI?
Next, they usually run them March and September, so FFI 5 will be in March 2013. You should have seen Sandy the next day, man. He slept at the store. I was knocking on his door to come back and set up all the stream gear to run day 2, and he was just like, ugh.
God bless Sandy.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Guys, what else? MLG, can we do a bit of a rundown on that? I know we did have some Canadian pros in there.
Yeah,
MLG, we know. Scarlet got knocked out by Daisy, and what are you doing, Frank?
I'm trying to remember. I saw a Reddit post. I think she
That's
was
Frank's
like,
thinking
fifth
face.
amongst foreigners. Was it fifth amongst foreigners? I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, she got.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think she was the highest Canadian.
she beat Bomber in the first round, didn't she?
Those games were epic. She
Yeah.
was so far down. She lost the first game, and it was just kind of like, oh, okay, I guess I have to try. And then during the first game, it was just like huge Hellion harass. She lost a ton of drones, and they were like, oh, Scarlett's gonna go down 2-0. She's going to loser bracket. And then it was just like, boom, she had 15 infestors and 8 queens pushing in on Bomber's third and just creep, covering 95% of the map, and then she just never looked back. And Bomber was just like, you could believe it.
Yeah.
But
But really good games.
Who else was in the bracket? I know Rise was there. I saw some pictures of him. There was a great picture on Reddit today of a bunch of pros gathered around kind of like 10 feet back watching Flash in one of his games, and you could see the whole like Complexity crew there watching it, and Rise is there. He didn't have his QXC bandana on, which he did promise he would start wearing on our show.
Oh
so
yeah.
For shame, Rise.
For shame.
For shame.
We'll have to dock him some points from his lightning round.
Yeah, I'm going to go change those scores, I think. I got to review that. I think he was doping at the time as well.
Imagine doping for StarCraft. What would that even look like? Oh man, that would be weird.
It probably could help your
think?
APM a bit, depending on the sort of like if you took like methamphetamines or like speed or something. I'm sure it would like enhance your.
drugs.
Well,
Do you think that will ever become a thing? Like performance-enhancing drugs in esports?
Yo, Red Bull.
Whoa. Like
They'd all be
I don't even know.
They'd all be disqualified if Red Bull was outlawed.
Yeah, really. But
Wasn't Flash with like 1,000 APM at one point? I mean, if he was on speed or
what?
methamphetamine, it would be like 2,000 and the keyboard was on fire. Like,
we had this discussion when we were watching MLG the other night about Flash's APM up to 1,000, and remember John Gao, another one of our Esports Canada members, was trying to explain how if you spam 4 keys, then you get like faster APM than you spam 3 keys. I don't know, but spamming.
He was hitting that APM like in the middle of the battle. Why is he spamming stuff? He must have just been doing stuff, right? Why is he doing useless stuff?
How do you do 1,000 APM? I don't even know what that even looks like. It's crazy.
I cracked
I know
100
it's
for the first time ever last week.
What?
I cracked 100 for the first time ever last
John, I'm
week.
so proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
John, I'm actually proud of you for taking the high road. I thought you were going to make fun of us for both being Protoss and not needing high APM.
Well, I mean, you don't. That was I didn't have to say anything, Frank. That was
just implied.
That was implied. Come on.
Yeah. But yeah, pretty insane. That APM, I have no idea. I wish there was a camera watching, because they show the faces, and that's all well and good. You get to see the person. I wish there was also a camera or view of the keyboard and what they were doing, because that's like where the magic is.
A lot of people do
happening.
that on stream sometimes, but it's kind of a choice between. Not many people have the 2 webcams, right? So it's, do I show my face and kind of get that out there, or do I make my hands popular? So
do you guys remember that? I forget what match it was when Total Biscuit and Diapollo were casting, and they were just going bonkers, and then they did one shot where they cut to the casters, and then Diapollo or Total Biscuit is like. He's just freaking out, and I was just like, "What's his APM right now?" Oh man.
What about drugs in? What about drugs in general, guys? No, but what about drugs in esports? Actually, scrap that. Back to the APM thing. Do you guys remember what event was it? Was it MLG where they put the heart rate monitors on the players?
Yeah, that was actually a really nice touch. I liked it.
Was it DreamHack?
It sounds like something DreamHack would do.
DreamHack,
Yeah, I think it was DreamHack.
Yeah,
It was like,
Tony
this
says
is the
it's
next
DreamHack.
thing in esports, and they did it for like one event, and that was it.
What? Did it get like terrible feedback or?
No, like people,
Sick.
no one said like this is the worst thing since non-sliced bread, but everyone was like, cool, they show the heart rates. Like it didn't really give too much insight into what was going on. It was like, there's a big battle, his heart rate went up 5 beats. It was, and then they just kind of never talked about it again, and it disappeared.
I thought it was a nice little touch. You get the, yeah.
I know the Razer Banshee headsets, how they glow different colors according to the APM.
With not one of our sponsors, John.
I know.
I was mentioning over the weekend how the only way I would ever win one of those competitions is if I went in and my opponents kept getting heart attacks along the way. So I think that heart rate monitor would have definitely helped, because I would have been able to see how close they were and how close my chances of winning would be.
Just apply a bit more pressure and his heart will pop.
I just gotta make him break 1,000 APM. I can do it.
We do not have too much time left, but Frank, I do want to talk about the HOTS beta.
Oh, really? Oh, I got all
Yes.
these questions. Actually,
Like-
can I quickly give you guys an update on how Scarlett's doing in the Ritmax Russian StarCraft 2 League Season 2?
Nope.
Yes,
Come on.
yes, Frank.
That's
Please
big news. So she
Frank,
ended
just
up
as a
being
precursor to this, Frank, the only time I ever see anything about Ripmax is when you bring it up on the show.
The reason I'm following it is because Scarlett's in it. She's the
This is
only
true.
Canadian, and this is a show that's promoting Canadian esports
You're
and Canadian
right.
esports
You're
speakers.
right.
Scarlett is one of them. So, anyways, she beat her teammate Nurcio 3-1. So then she went into the semifinals. She faced Vortex, beat him 3-2. So now Scarlett is waiting in the grand finals, waiting for the winner of the losers bracket. So she could end up facing Vortex or Nurcio again. But really exciting news. She could be winning tournaments
Abroad.
as competing in MLG and stuff. So follow that. Follow Canadian esports.
I guess I just always assumed that she was going to win. And they have like a terrible name. It's like the Ritmax Russian Star. Yeah.
But there's some good games. There's some quality players there. I was actually surprised that she was able to beat Nurcio and Vortex, because I've seen some of her Zerg versus Zerg, and I didn't think it was necessarily her strongest. Like, anyways, I'm not the best analyst for that, but I thought, oh yeah, for sure, Nurchio has gotta like put some fear in her, and then I was like, oh, Vortex playing so well. I was like, there's no way, but she beat them both, so good on her. Really improving.
HOTS beta, I got it about a week ago. I haven't. What, Frank?
Now you can finally talk about it.
Yeah, well, man, I loved HOTS beta. I always tried to bring it up, and you were like, Ritmax.
Jerk, John.
Have you played it yet?
Oh yeah, I mean, I haven't really had too much time to like grind out games. I've played, I think, like 4 1v1s.
So jelly. So
the
jelly.
weirdest thing ever, when you join, like when you open up the game, you instantly join general chat, and from general chat, I actually made and joined a 3v3, and we played it out. And I was like, this is Destiny's wet dream right now, that I'm joining a general channel and playing a 3v3 match with people
awesome.
I don't know.
Sounds like Baron's chat.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It was like, with Marduk's wife.
You're chatting with like the high-profile people who also have HOTS, because it's not that big of a pool, right?
That's a fairly big pool. I think there was
Not in it.
500 to 700 games going on at the time, but that was only NA, and it was like 2 minutes after the game went back up, and it was brought back down as soon as I finished that 3v3. So that was on the day that they were releasing all the UI changes, which are fantastic. I don't know why I made the poop noise for that, but I gave the thumbs up.
We
So
can see the video, and I'm like, was that good or bad? I don't know.
no, it is great. A lot of changes. I really haven't had the chance to check them all out. I'm really interested to see what they're doing with replays now that I'm starting my budding observing career. I'd like to see what different options and whatnot you can do with the replay, because supposedly they've revamped the entire thing, and they have a lot more input that you can change kind of where things are on the screen, and maybe even have Telestrator as well, which would be amazing.
Nice.
That would be great, yeah.
And built-in replays and stuff too. They were talking about a lot of stuff. I don't know if it's actually in this update, but hopefully soon.
You should play and let us know next week on Esports Canada TV.
I will. I've been playing 1v1s, and I don't even use the new units. It's like 30 minutes into the game, and I'm just like still building like ultras and brood lords and whatnot.
You just 6-pool everyone, John?
Oh yeah, I just 6-pool.
You're the worst.
That one 3v3 we played, like it was me, a Zerg, and a Protoss, and we're all just like teching up to these new units, just like, oh man, did you notice this? And oh, this is new, and this is cool. And we're talking and chatting and talking with the other guys, and all of a sudden it's just like Zealot, Zealot, Stalker, Ling, all in at like 7 minutes, and we're like, really guys, like really, like you want to do this? Like we've been waiting 2 weeks with all these changes. So screw you guys who were in that 3v3.
I'm sure they're watching, John. I'm sure they're following you on Twitter and everything.
The word gets out.
Do you like it? I've heard from a lot of people that they don't like it at all at HOTS.
I know.
From StarCraft 2 players.
When did you hear that?
Like, at Frag.
Yeah, that was before a lot of the changes. Well, the UI changes at least. I guess when it first came out, there was a lot of people that were complaining that it wasn't different enough, and there were a lot of balance changes they still had to do. I mean, they got rid of Warhound. They changed a bunch of stuff with Mothership Core and with the Oracle and whatnot. So there has been a lot of changes. I know there was a bit of a negative thing after kind of like 3 to 4 weeks after the beta had came out, but I know, at least with the UI changes that they've made, that a lot of people were pretty happy about it.
Yeah, I just heard everyone at Frag hating on it, so I was just like, wow.
Well, we had that one station set up with like 2 computers that had no like labels or anything, or come try out HOTS, and the only person I saw trying it out was this like 15-year-old kid who ruined some guy's platinum account for HOTS and just was playing mouse only while his dad watched, and I was just like, this is not going to go well. Guys, I think that's about it. We are out of time.
One more thing. You made everyone jealous. I got PlanetSide 2 beta, still there. I'm also playing NS2.
Are those games?
So,
what are those?
Yeah, those are games. NS2 is the mashup of Counter-Strike and StarCraft, bro. And PlanetSide 2, we talked about it on the show, but I got the beta, and you didn't, John, so that's why you're pretending like it's not a big deal.
I think Richard from ESC's had that for like 2 or 3 weeks, so...
Maybe I'll go play with Richard,
him,
and maybe I'll ask him to host a show.
I played it with him,
don't know.
actually. Before we start lobbing turds at each other, we are done for the evening. Mike, any last words from you? Want to plug your show and Twitter and all that jazz?
Yeah, absolutely. So people can find Ralston Arcade on our Twitch TV channel, twitch.tv/RalstonInstall, RALSTONINSTALL. Follow us on Twitter at Ralston Arcade. That's where you'll find out, when tournaments are starting, when we're up to, when we're going live, all that stuff. We are working on a website, ralstonarcade.com. Because of the busy tournament schedule we've had in the last couple of months, we haven't actually worked on it at all lately, but it should be out hopefully January of next year, so that'll be ralstonarcade.com. But hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on the Twitch TV channel. That's probably the best place to find us and ask us things. We do Marvel every Tuesday night, about 7:30 Eastern time, brackets start, so definitely tune in for that. You'll hear us yelling and screaming and people getting salty and all that kind of stuff.
And you guys are always very good with talking with the guys in chat. I know anytime I drop in and say anything, I get a mention on stream. So
yeah, absolutely. And we feature people's tweets on stream. So if you hit us up at Ralston Arcade during any stream broadcast, we can feature your tweet on stream, show your social media some love, and then you guys can get shout-outs that way. I know Esports Canada has done that before during some of our streams, and we definitely appreciate it.
yep, that was me.
Nice. Yeah, that's what I figured. I figured you were
Nice.
in chat and you were like, yeah, Esports Canada just tweeted at us. I was like,
I know nothing. All right, guys, that was it for episode 11. Thank you very much to Mike Daniels for joining us, and as well as Lee and Jesse from Alien Trap Games. You can check them out, alientrap.org, and follow Apotheon as it is released next year. And in the meantime, you can play. Frank, give me the name of the game because I don't have it up and I can't.
Capsize.
Capsize, that's the one.
Yeah.
Capsize is available on Steam, so go and check that out for sure. Mike, are you going to be back to join us periodically throughout the rest of your life?
absolutely, I'm going to keep doing it. I just posted the Facebook event for Low Tide Throwdown in the chat, so if anybody wants to check that out, definitely do that. But I'd love to come back anytime, guys, and talk esports or fighting games.
Excellent.
Is that also on our forums, Mike? So that, is it on our calendar and stuff?
Yep,
Yeah,
it is.
actually Tristan knows me pretty well because I've been spamming him emails about the event calendar and getting all those stuff up, and then I'd make a change and it would come down, and then I'd go up, and he's like, "Oh, I guess we should fix that." And I'm like, "Beta tester, yay!"
Don't talk to Tristan about the website. Come to me.
Oh, okay,
Boo,
well,
boo, Tristan, impeach 2013. I hope he's watching. Thank you very much, guys. You can follow us at esports_Canada on Twitter.
I tried to help Tristan out. I tried.
Facebook.com/esportscanada. Follow Songers. Where do I follow you, Songers?
At ESC.Songers, right up there.
Jovian, where can I follow you, bud?
At ESC.Jovian.
Mike, I already plugged you. You can follow me on Twitter at QuinnOfTheNet. That's not even your right Twitter, Mike. I'm sorry, I screwed up. That's actually your Twitch address.
Oh, that works.
People will figure
I
it out.
noticed
People are smart. Our
At
viewers especially.
Ralston Arcade is something.
Yeah, that's our Twitter.
Go to at Ralston Arcade.
Yeah, there we go.
Super. And join our website, guys, esportscanada.ca. Join our forums, join the conversation, check out our calendar for any events going on across Canada. This has been episode 11, and I was super pumped about it. So we'll be back next week, I guess.
episode.
You guys want to do it next week?
Yeah, let's do a 12th episode.
Let's
Why
do
not?
12.
Maybe.
Yeah,
We'll
let's
be
just
back,
do it.
everyone. Esports Canada TV signing off.